Comparisonitis can be a crushing blow to your studio. When you get distracted by what other teachers are doing, you're not as able to focus on making progress in your own studio. You spend so much time thinking about how this teacher down the street is doing it, or how that teacher right the way across the world is doing it, that you forget to focus on your students and the progress they're making and the things you're learning as a teacher. If that sounds like you, then I want to give you several different tips that can help you to change your mindset and to move on from the comparisons and to just enjoy your business, the majority of the time at least. So let's start by giving ourselves a couple of new frames. Now, the wording around these kinds of ideas that will be useful for you is different for everyone, for sure. Two things that are useful for me. Number one is advice I hear around this given more often, which is about running your own race. So if you think about running your own race, you're going into the marathon and you're going to run against your own time, run against yourself. That is going to be more useful, more powerful to drive you forward than comparing yourself to someone who started 20 minutes before you, or, in the case of teaching, 5 years before you. Running your own race can be something you can come back to again and again when these thoughts about comparisons and how you're not doing as well as you should be and you're not good enough creep in. The one that's even more useful for me and is not as directly related to comparisonitis on the face of it is playing a bigger game. Now these sound similar, but playing a bigger game actually means more to me. When you think about playing a bigger game, it helps you to zoom out, to think about all those details as fitting into a much larger puzzle. Yes, if you get all the little bits wrong, all the puzzle's pieces in the wrong spot, and you zoom out, it's not going to look like anything. But if you have a 5,000 piece puzzle and you get one thing twisted the wrong way and you zoom all the way out, well, they're just pixels. You're not even going to notice that one of them was wrong. So thinking about it as playing a bigger game, meaning your studio is having a bigger impact, your business is here for the long term, can be really useful when you get bogged down in the details of what one other teacher is doing in this moment right now versus what you're doing right now. These two things together, running your own race and playing a bigger game, might just help you to do one thing. Just do one thing. That's our mantra here. I'm often wearing a t-shirt with it on. Just do one thing. Because if you do one thing, you will move forward. You get that momentum going and it will continue to push you forward. But if you get frozen in spot looking at what other teachers are doing, you're not going to go anywhere. My next tip is about your identity. So this is where I think our marketing course, which is linked to in the description, could be really useful for you. It's called Modern Music Teaching Studio Marketing, so it might sound like it's nothing to do with our identity. But through that course, you'll actually build a picture of who you are as a teacher, what makes your studio different, and what you want it to be like. And the clearer your picture of what your identity is, the more you can tune out all the extraneous noise, all the nonsense that's really just getting in the way. For instance, in my studio, I know that I'm not trying to train people who win classical music competitions or who get the absolute top marks in every exam every single year. Now, my students might do that. I'm not holding them back from having those opportunities, but that's not my focus, and that's not who I am. I'm also not the person who's going to enforce practice. Not my jam. I'm going to encourage it. I'm going to help parents to develop it, but I'm not going to give out to anyone for not practicing. I'm not going to have a practice contract because this is all part of a bigger picture of who my studio is, what my studio is, who I am as a teacher, and the kinds of teachers that I train here. We're about fun, engaging lessons that connect with all different types of learners. And if I keep coming back to that, keep going back to the students we have now, I can tune out 95% of the ideas out there. They might be great ideas. I might appreciate the creativity or the nuance to the details of what they're doing, but they are not for me. I might come back to them later, I might not, but right now I'm just gonna canoe on by on the stream. The next thing that I think could help you if you're trapped in a comparisonitis loop right now is to have a more detailed dream for your business, for your studio. If I asked you what you want your studio to look like in 3 years or 10 years, could you answer me? Do you know where you want to go? This is not meant to trap you in and box you into something that you decide now, because we're all evolving all the time. You might change your mind, and as a business owner, it is your right to do so. That is absolutely fine. Don't commit to something to the point of holding yourself captive to this rule. But at any moment in time, you should have those dreams, and they should be detailed. You should be able to visualize yourself in that environment, in the studio, as it looks. Maybe it's just like the one you have now. Maybe it's in a different location. Maybe there are more students. Maybe there are fewer students. Maybe there are higher level students. Maybe there are classes and you currently teach one-on-one. But if you can fully picture that, then you can start to see the path towards it. And if you can see the path towards it, you can see how maybe that teacher is further along that path than you are, or maybe they're on a completely different road going to a completely different location, and that is fine. Either one is fine. Maybe they're behind you, maybe they're ahead of you, maybe they're on a parallel road. All of those are fine and have nothing to do with you getting to your destination as you see it right now. And then there's the idea of taking a peek inside other studios. This is where, if your comparisonitis trap is all about teaching, the pedagogy, the how of teaching, what's included in the lessons, and the nitty-gritty of how they're actually teaching, taking a look inside other studios can be valuable, extremely valuable. And it's not about you wanting to imitate them, but it's about satisfying that curiosity, and yes, maybe telling yourself that you're doing okay. Maybe you're doing some things better than them. Maybe there's something you can learn from them. But this is an opportunity that we haven't had until recent years. But now you do. There are videos right here on my YouTube channel, and there are videos, way more videos, inside my Vibrant Music Teaching membership that are literally a camera in the corner of my studio. You can look at me teaching. You can look at what happens when a student lies down on the bench and whether I choose to address that or not. You can look at students interrupting me and how I address that, or a student having a wonderful light bulb moment. These are all things that happen to all of us at different stages. And nothing is perfect and polished like you see in some promotional videos for method books or something like that. Aside from just mine, there are other teachers out there who share their own videos. So have a look around YouTube. Have a look and see if you can see real lesson examples. They're always going to be cherry-picked a little bit, but they can be really valuable as a way to see what you're doing right and what you could do differently and the different approaches that are out there. And then, second to last, community, not competition. That's the mantra I want you to live by. Because if you're comparing yourself to other teachers, you've got the wrong end of the stick. The other teachers are not your competition. You're not fighting against them. Our competition is the Xbox and iPhones and, I don't know, homework. It's other things that kids or that recreational adults or whoever you're teaching, other things that they want to do with their spare time. That's who we're competing with. Not each other. We're all fighting for music to be in more places, to reach more people, and to help level out music education so that everyone can access it. At least I hope that's what we're all doing. So even if the other teacher does things in a way you don't approve of, or you do approve of, or you're jealous of, you're missing the point. We need to lift each other up. We need to be a community. That's what we are right here. And we need to move forward together to fight against our competition, which is our industry disappearing. So, I hope some of those tips help you, and I want to give you one final one, which is to reach out. If you are struggling with comparisonitis right now, if there's some aspect of your studio that you're not sure about, ask us. Ask in the VMT forums if you're a member, ask here on the YouTube channel, go to the Facebook group and ask there, or any other place where you can connect with like-minded teachers. Find out whether what you're doing is normal and ask somewhere where you trust that you're not going to be kicked down or pushed back for the way you're asking the question or some element that might come from just a simple ignorance of some fact. That will never happen to you if you ask me or if you ask our VMT community. So that would be a great place to start. But ask. Put up your hand. Ask the hard question, because you might find that others are struggling with it too. And you asking that question and being brave for that 1 second of courage makes all the difference to them and their teaching journey and moving our whole community forward.